All right, guys, happy Sunday. Sucks I couldn't be doing this stream, especially this stream live, because it is, a Marvel movie, and I'm a huge Marvel fan, and I know I have friends that are, but with my schedule and the way things are, and other people's schedules, and I'm just, I just wanted to put this reaction out there now. That way, too much time doesn't elapse where it's just like, who cares about this film right now? Um, so yeah, guys, I'm going to be talking about my reaction and spoiler review to the brand new Thor film, Thor Love and Thunder, just after this. All right. Well, so if you're here, you're ready to talk some Thor Love and Thunder. And I do apologize. It will not be available when I drop this stream to do live chat, because I'm obviously going to premiere this stream, but I'm not going to be there in the live chat to engage with you guys. But feel free to still drop a comment. Let me know what you thought of the film. Let me know what you didn't like. Let me know what you loved, and all that jazz. So let's get into it. This was a film that, after seeing the trailers, I had I had mixed emotions when I was watching the trailers. The music obviously gets you. Let's not deny that. The music gets you. I love Thor's character. I love Chris Hemsworth as an actor. I think he's hysterical. I think he's funny. I like his comedic timing. And his character development in Thor has evolved so much. I mean, if you go look at the original Thor film, and every other thing he's been a part of, the Avengers and whatever ensemble he's been in. He wasn't in Civil War, but the Infinity War, Infinity Saga, he's come a long way from the first one, I should say. So I do like what Chris Hemsworth brings. I love Taika Waititi. I love what he did. And I think he only had one episode. I know it was the finale, but even his characters he plays, in The Mandalorian, and everything Taika has done in his films. I love Jojo Rabbit. Like, there's a lot of things that Taika does that I love. Ragnarok is actually one of my top favorite Marvel movies of all time. I believe it's just behind. It's definitely top five for me. So that being said, I did have certain anticipations and certain excitement for this film, but I'm like, there's no way it's going to top Ragnarok, right? And Ragnarok, look, some of the complaints I'm going to have about this film, you can easily say that Ragnarok had the same thing. Ragnarok was very jokey and very lighthearted. And you can even argue that this film had more emotion to it, which I definitely agree. I mean, look how it starts out. It starts out dark as fuck. I mean, a little girl dies. So I'm not. There's something about this film, and I'm not the only one. I'm not. I stayed away from any reviews. Or I mean, I should say, I stayed away from spoiler reviews before I went to go see this film. I did see out of the theater reactions, and for the most part, they were positive, but they all had a similar, what do you call it? A similar, not gripe, but a similar way to put their reaction. It was basically saying that if you go watch this film just to watch it, you're going to enjoy it. But if you go to watch it in the context of the MCU and the context of Marvel, even though this is what we've gotten from other movies, it's just it misses. And I now I understand completely what they were saying. I'm sure if I go rewatch this film, knowing what I know now, I'll probably enjoy it a little bit more, because I'm going to expect the comedy, you know. And I love Taika's comedy. I think he does a great job. I think he's a funny dude, and what he writes and what he puts on screen. What do you call it? Along with James Gunn. James Gunn has comedy, but he's more he tells stories better with song and very obscure jokes, and stuff like that, and it works. Guardians is one of my favorite ensemble films, if you take away Avengers Endgame and Infinity War, and I guess Avengers, you know what I mean. um but this film, I just feel like the character of Thor, I if you go and watch it in previous, his previous renditions. Like I said, starting from the original Thor, you can totally skip Thor: Dark World. I think that's the worst Marvel movie of all time, and I'll always stand by that. Um, and even in Thor Ragnarok, he's jokey, but he's serious when he has to be. And you can argue, well, Joe, a lot of that, a lot of that portrayal of that character and the way he portrays that character is before a heavy dose of loss that he takes. His dad dying in Ragnarok, his mother dying in Thor: Dark World. Who else? Loki obviously dying for real this time in Avengers. What do you call it? Infinity War. And losing Jane. And losing the Warriors 3, whatever that, I believe they're called Warriors 3, right? Right? Something like that. You know what I'm talking about. Losing his planet. A lot of things he lost. A lot. I know I'm forgetting something. I'm Mjolnir, you can count too. I know that was a heavy loss, but then you got Stormbreaker, Heimdall. Every pretty much. I mean, the list goes on. Everything that he was connected to was taken from him. So right now he feels all alone, and I get it. I mean, more than anything, his whole family's gone. But they made him to a point where, and this was even in what was it, 1 or 2 episodes of What If? They just make his character just fucking dumb. And I get why he might have regressed because of all the things he's feeling. I get it. I mean, dude, I fucking regressed in my life several times after some trauma or whatever, and I get it. But it's just like they make him incompetent. And it's from the very beginning of the film. First of all, the Guardians, I was expecting or was hoping for more. They were there for a joke. I honestly thought that whole opening scene, I mean, after Christian Bale scene, but that whole opening scene with the Guardians getting his help and him fighting what looked like angry birds or whatever, I really thought he was dreaming that, because it was just the way that, Peter Quill was acting, Drax was acting, they were acting off, and the whole interaction between the two of them, I mean, I should say between Thor and the rest of the Guardians, was just so weird. And they kind of treated him like, when they were leaving, they're like, all right, like, let's just leave this dude here. Like, what the fuck? Let's get out of here. They couldn't wait to get rid of him. And I didn't want that dynamic. I loved the dynamic between Quill and Thor in Infinity War. I loved the back and forth. And I couldn't wait to see the Asgardians of the Galaxy. I couldn't wait to see them all together. And what we got was just like a fucking joke. And most of this film was a joke. Him riding Stormbreaker like the Wicked Witch of the West, from in the very beginning of the battle. That was crazy. A lot of people complain that, let's go prior to that. After Bale's daughter died, and he's in the oasis or whatever that paradise is, in the middle of the desert, and he encounters the god that he's been praying to. I guess it's the god of sunlight, whatever it is, the bringer of light, something like that. And I was okay with the way the god acted. It was a little goofy, but I actually didn't mind that. That was probably, I was like, all right. A lot of people said that it set the tone for how the movie was going to be, maybe, but I was okay with that. And then Gore obviously gets the sword, the Necro sword, and he kills the god for basically not only disrespecting him, but putting him down and making him feel stupid for worshiping and praising these gods for his whole life, thinking he was going to get eternal reward. And they're like, there's no eternal reward. That's what you guys are meant to do. You peasants are meant to serve us gods and worship us gods. So I was okay with that. I was okay with that god. Fast forward to when we see Zeus, I had a little problems with that. But look, overall, and again, I don't want to be here too long. I'm already in 10 minutes. Overall, I enjoyed this film. It's the weirdest fucking thing. I probably give it a 7 out of 10. I do. And I enjoyed it from start to finish. I was laughing from start to finish. I teared up a couple of scenes. It was emotional. It was, with Jane dying, the sacrifice that Christian Bale makes at the end. I knew, because she's not credited, and I was thinking, and I was trying to search everywhere. I'm like, that looks like it would be Chris Hemsworth's real daughter. And it was, but she's not credited. But his real daughter played Gore's daughter, the one that dies and then obviously gets resurrected at the end by eternity. Spoiler alert. Um, in fact, and she's the embodiment of love. That's why it's called Love and Thunder, and hence why we got the title. But so there were emotion, and there was obviously a lot of humor. But then there was things that just didn't work for me. It didn't, the whole scene in Omnipotent City with Zeus, and now he's dancing around. He almost curtsies a little bit when he's coming down the stairs and is killed. And it's just like that wasn't needed. Like, and the other thing is too, and I know a lot of people complain about this, and rightfully so. Look, my complaint with Gore is not his look. I thought it was fine, and I've been saying since they announced his look that I have a feeling I know why they went with this version and not the comics. Comic version, he looks way too much like Voldemort. I said it even before Taika came out and said it. I'm like, wait, guys, he would look like too much like Voldemort. And also, Ebony Maw in Avengers and Endgame, Infinity War and Endgame. Maybe they just didn't want to look too repetitive because it almost looks like it would Ebony Maw's look as well. So I'm okay with the way they went with Gore. I think Christian Bale did a great job. He looked scary. He looked intense. His scenes, even in the shadow world, were great. The way he was menacing to the kids without being too menacing. But the problem is, you're Gore the God Butcher. There's no butchering of gods. We see him kill one god, and that's in the very beginning of the film. Apparently, there was a lot cut out from this film. I think whether it was darker, it definitely had to be more darker than this because this was just way too jokey. And when I mean too jokey, do I mean the interactions with Thor and whatever? No, because that's Thor's comedy. That's the way Thor is now. But they could have scaled it back a little bit, They went with the joke too many times, and the most popular and the best example I can give is that with Stormbreaker and the constant, him trying to him missing Mjolnir because now Jane has Mjolnir because she's the mighty Thor, and it's his former weapon, and now his current weapon is jealous. Why are you making a weapon sentient? Why are you giving a weapon an axe that was made and forged from from a dying star to kill Thanos? And now you're making him like a crazy ex-girlfriend, or not even, I'm sorry, a jealous current girlfriend. It's just so weird. He's pouring beer on it, telling him to have a drink. He's scratching it like it's got it underneath a dog or a cat chin. It was just some of the jokes just didn't make any sense. It didn't, and then the Zeus demolishes Korg, and then Korg is alive. He's just a face. And it's like, I'm okay with that, but you took sort of an emotional thing because Korg is a cool character. I love Korg since Ragnarok. I think he's hysterical. Again, another character created and acted out by Taika. And it's just great. But we needed some emotional weight because maybe if you kill him off, I don't know. I guess he's a rock. You could grow him back. But I wasn't against the fact that he was back. But that was probably needed because it was way too jokey of a scene in Omnipotent City. And, it's just whatever. And then she Valkyrie ties him behind her head, and he's got a mustache, which supposedly is foreshadowing the dad of what's soon to be their kid. So, I don't know. And then, of course, Valkyrie gets stabbed, but then she's okay. The only person that actually dies is Jane. And then, of course, Christian Bale dies because he's no longer possessed and cursed by the Necrosword because the Necrosword is destroyed. So I just thought it might have been dark because that was a lot. And that's the thing, too. A lot of people's first reactions, out of theater reactions were, prepare. This movie's going to feel a little bit darker than the trailers let it on to be. I'm like, yeah, the opening scene. That's it. After his the daughter dies, and maybe at the end when he sacrifices himself, and not sacrifice himself, but instead of wishing for the death of all gods, he brings his daughter back. It's just like, okay, but it was just, I don't know. It was just very weird, and it could have been a lot more darker. It could have been balanced a little bit better. Maybe the jokes would have felt a little bit more in place because you would have needed to supplement and, like I said, and basically counter the darkness that a character like Gore the God Butcher, who's not fucking killing anything on screen, is doing. You know, you see a bunch of corpses, or you see it on the what do you call it? Um, the Benatar's screen when they get the distress calls. You can see what he's doing, you know? And even Sif, like Lady Sif is like, okay, like I'm gonna die in battle, and it's just like, okay, I'm gonna joke about it now. Oh, you're not gonna die, or you're not going to Valhalla. Maybe your arm will, but you're not gonna go to Valhalla because you didn't die in battle. It's just like, well, how does it work? Like, how does it work? Because Jane technically didn't die in battle. She died after the battle. How did she go to Valhalla? Like, I just, again, I don't know. I don't know how that works. Post-credit scenes to me, it was one person in, I can't remember who it was, said that these were some of the best post-credit scenes we've gotten in a long time. I was hoping for more. Now I get it. Yes, Hercules was, you know, shown, and now we got Hercules in canon. And even though he was mentioned earlier when Thor was talking about some of the gods that they had in Omnipotent City, but like, okay, and now you're going to make him a character now, and I'm okay with that, and I'm okay with the guy playing Hercules because I like him from Ted Lasso. But the last one was like, all right, Jane's in Valhalla, she sees Heimdall. I don't know what's the point of that. I mean, I'm glad to see she's in the afterworld or wherever she's in the realm of Valhalla. That's great, but I don't know. The post credit scenes were okay to me, you know. And of course, the thing I had an issue with. I mean, I guess you like, how does Zeus get killed anyway? But I mean, the guy got a lightning bolt through the chest. I mean, again, he is a god, so I small little nitpick. I just didn't think he survived. I thought he was killed. So, you know, and I understand what it's setting up. It's setting up the tension between the gods and the humans, you know, and the gods and obviously Thor and whoever's associated with Thor. And obviously the Guardians of the Galaxy are off to, well, at that point, they're off to the other distress calls. But now that Gore has been conquered, they're really pretty much going to go to the aftermath. So I really don't know what the Guardians are going to be doing in Guardians 3, but you know what I mean. So yeah, I already gave my score of 7 out of 10. And another thing that I've said so many times, how I watch movies, is how it makes me feel in the theater. Which again, I enjoyed it. Did it have some emotion to it? Yes, but the rewatchability. It's the rewatchability that always gets me, and why I rank this movie a 7 and not lower. I think a 7 is a pretty solid score given what we got. I was hoping for better content, especially coming off of Ragnarok, but this is a movie I definitely would rewatch. I don't know if I'll go to the theaters. You know, it's me, you know, if a friend said, "Hey, I haven't seen Thor yet. You want to come with me?" Maybe I'll go with him just for a good time, or them for a good time. But it's definitely a rewatchable movie. Perfect example, Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness. I enjoyed the film. I didn't think it was bad. I don't think even Thor, I tease about Thor Dark World being my least favorite, which it is. Definitely for me, the worst of the Marvel movies. However, I don't hate any Marvel movie. It's hard for me to hate any Marvel movie. It really is. I don't hate anything that Marvel has put out. It just gives me the least probability of a rewatch. Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, I enjoyed. I enjoyed thoroughly what they gave us with Scarlet Witch, and some of the scenes with the what the fuck? Why am I blanking? The what do you call it? Illuminati. I can't, why couldn't I think of that? The scenes with the Illuminati, you know, and of course Doctor Strange too. I like him, but it's been on Disney Plus. I haven't rewatched it. And I don't even know if I want to rewatch it, at least not now. Maybe sometime in the future I'll rewatch it, but that's my point. My point is it doesn't have that rewatchability for me. Thor Love and Thunder, I can sit here and give you my complaints and say, you know, it was a miss and it was too jokey, it was this, it was that, but it's still a good time and I'd still rewatch it. So I recommend going to see it. I do. But also keep in mind, you know, and I'm talking to you guys like you haven't seen it. I'm assuming you've seen it if you're watching a spoiler reaction or spoiler talk. But keep in mind, like, again, coming off of Ragnarok, it's hard to top. Again, I know Ragnarok had jokes. I know it did. But but there was just something amiss in this version, in this film, where again, it wasn't just it was joke after joke after joke, it was the same joke kind of just rehashed. And like I said, the Stormbreaker joke, and there was a couple other ones where it's like, all right, we get it, you know? And again, the fact that they just continue to make Thor dumb. Like he wasn't like that to start. Like you want to make him traumatized and you want to make him vulnerable. Um, and also obviously have the comedic timing that he's always had. Fine. But his characters regress so much from Infinity War. You know, again, I get that he's been through a lot since, but it doesn't warrant for what they've done to this character and just continually to dumb him down. And yeah, so that being said, that's why that's why I give this a 7 out of 10. But guys, let me know what you thought of the film. You know, what did you expect of the film? What did you like? What did you dislike of the film? Another thing that was a little too repetitive too, and then I'll end the stream, was Gore's use of the Necrosword and the constant bringing of the shadow puppets or whatever they were called. You know, and I know I think they were pretty much different renditions every time he did it. But I mean, that's pretty much all he did, you know, and there really wasn't much that Gore did in the film. You know, he kidnapped a bunch of kids, used them as a trap because he needed Stormbreaker to open up the Bifrost that was in the heart of Eternity to make his wish. But, and I will say too, Eternity looked kind of cool. I really did like the way it looked. You know, and a lot of people were speculating whether we're going to get Beta Ray Bill. Obviously, we didn't get Beta Ray. Wait, is it Beta Ray? Beta Ray? Sounds weird when I'm saying it. I know that. I don't think that's how you say it. Beta Ray Bill. It's not Beta Rata. What the fuck am I talking about? It's Beta Ray, right? You know when you say a word and it sounds weird? That's what that's what's happening right now. I might be saying it completely wrong. But you know what I'm talking about. So we're just going to go with that. And on that note, guys, I am going to end the stream. Guys, don't forget to hit that like button. Subscribe if you can. Hopefully, you've already done that before I said so. But if you haven't, that's why I'm saying it now. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Be on the lookout because my Top Gun spoiler talk and spoiler reaction is also up on my channel right now. And tomorrow and Wednesday will be my live reactions to Stranger Things Part 1 and 2 and The Boys Season 3. All right, guys, enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you all really soon.